So the debt ceiling emerging as a key sticking point in the battle to fund the government. Not quite sure how this is going to go. Donald Trump writing this: if there's going to be a shutdown of government, let it begin now under the Biden administration, not after January 20th under Trump. This is a Biden problem to solve, but if Republicans can help solve it, they will, end quote. Kevin O'Leary is my guest now. Morning to you. I don't know how you feel about this. Get you to weigh in. I know from a very good source, even before the election, what Trump was asking a lot of finance people is whether or not as president he could solve the debt issue without forcing the country into a recession. I don't have the economic mind that's able to answer that. Can you give it a shot?
Sure, it can be solved. You have to ask yourself one question. There's two ways the economy's engine runs. Either the government funds it from the top down, or people by the millions every day make economic decisions, people that run businesses or are investors. I would prefer the second to work, and the way to make that happen is to cut spending. And I'll give you an example. There's still billions unspent in the CHIPS and Science Act. That's a waste of money. Shut it down. There's still billions left in the Infrastructure Act. Shut it down. Because at the end of the day, the market's a better vehicle by which to fund chip manufacturing. Because I don't want to invest in Intel as an investor. I would never invest in there. Why should I have to invest in that company, which is a loser amongst chip manufacturers, as a taxpayer? So that's what Trump is thinking. That's what he's asking these CEOs, and they're giving him that answer quietly without having to be public about it. We want less government and more market is what we want, and that's the message. Now, there's 38 plus Republican senators that also feel that way. And that's why we're going to have some real watch the sausage being made on this whole spending and government shutdown stuff.
Just in a word, Kevin, what is your sense? Can they figure it out or not?
No. What's going to happen here is they're going to punt for 3 weeks. There won't be a decision on the debt ceiling. This bill, I doubt, gets voted at 10, maybe later on in the day. These are lawmakers that want to go home for the holiday. We've seen this movie so many times before. Punt for 3 weeks. We'll deal with it on the other side of the new year.
Okay, Wall Street Journal op-ed, here we go now. How to avoid the coming federal debt avalanche. The nation will be snowed under unless we tackle the main cause of the problem, mandatory spending. Mandatory spending is Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. It's about 60% of the annual budget. I've yet to see the politicians who have the stones to solve it. That going to change?
Well, if there's ever a mandate for the next 24 months, because the midterms aren't for 2 years, and Trump has been elected with a platform that is a full popular majority at the every level, no matter how you look at it. This is his to do. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be him. And he's basically said he would tackle this. So let's see him do it. And I'm in the camp that says lower corporate taxes generate more tax revenue, because I've seen that also. So there is a way to keep the tax cuts that Trump put in place years ago intact, maybe not lower them to 15, but actually energize the economy to grow our way out of this mess. That's the plan.
Yeah. Remember our voter analysis from election night. 56% of the people said they wanted substantial change in the way the country's run. 27% wanted total upheaval. Of those who wanted substantial change, 70% voted for Donald Trump. We'll see whether or not that happens. Kevin O'Leary, have a terrific holiday and a happy new year. We'll see you in 25. Thank you, sir.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.